All right, we are back and it's still Crossfire with Dakwani Shoma. And we've been talking about our nation, Nigeria. We brought you a story earlier on talking about the dryness being experienced in Lake Chad. And that will pose a lot of economic challenges and even some form of, difficulty in, for the people who are living very close to the Lake Chad to live a normal life. So we are expecting that the government will take a very positive step to ensure that this does not happen. And then we talked about, the wrong estimate, supposedly, as reported yesterday by the Speaker of the lower chamber of the National Assembly, that Honorable Yakubu Dogara, that 2.9 people, are missing in the list of the internally displaced person. It was reported 2.1, and we have close to about 5 million people that have been internally displaced. Let's take this call before we continue. Prsidential, good morning. Hello, Prsidential.
Hello.
Hello, Prsidential.
Yeah. Please call us back.
Yeah, kindly call back. Let's know your thought. Now, let's quickly go into, our major focus of discussion today. Now, the tribunal ruled, yesterday, that they will be ruling on, the Senate President's matter today. Yeah. And at the same time, the new list submitted containing 16 names will be read by the same Senate President today. And then the screening exercise for the supposedly 37 names that have been submitted to the Senate should start screening today. Now, the Legislative House Elections Petition Tribunal in Ilorin, Kwara State, will today deliver judgment in a petition against Senate President Bukola Saraki. Now, the People's Democratic Party candidate in the March 28 senatorial elections, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, challenged the declaration of Dr. Saraki as the winner of the Kwara Central poll. Now, the three-man tribunal is led by Justice Josiah Majebi. Now, the tribunal had communicated the judgment date to them as promised by the chairman on September 4th, when final written addresses were adopted. Adopting his final written address, counsel to Senator Bukola Saraki, Yusuf Olaolu Ali, asked the tribunal to dismiss the petition, saying the petitioner failed to provide, adequate, evidence and all of that for his case. So we really don't know how trending this story may be. But let's take Presidental's call. Hello, Presidental.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you on Crossfire.
Yeah, good morning, Dakwa. Good morning, my sister.
Good morning,
Fantastic.
Sir.
Sincerely, if we are conversant, sometime last year or so, the man who was head of a national census board made the statement, we are falsifying figures in this country. What if we ask ourselves genuinely, what is the population of Lagos? And when you now say IDPs up to 5 million, we can imagine Bayelsa State is not up to 5 million. Let's be very honest and sincere with figures.
Okay.
So it tells you somebody's playing something, and it's all back to the issue of Boko Haram. For us, as a typical Nigerian who wants the survival of Nigeria, Boko Haram is an agenda by some people to create impression. Otherwise, what are they fighting for? What are they killing people for? Is it that they want more states or more money or what? No. It's all a propaganda to return power back to the north. 55 years of independence. 55 years of independence. What part of the country has had more power? They say not. So let's just stop this and let's live as one. Nigeria is blessed. It's a great country. It's all fallacy. You can't get 5 million. 5 million IDPs where? It's unfortunate. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, President. Now, the issue is this. Let's not get it wrong. We're not talking about the IDP camps in the north. We're talking about internally displaced persons all over Nigeria. We brought you a case on this show, and we're talking about a classical example in Edo State. In Edo State. And don't forget that internally displaced persons are not basically people that were affected directly by the activities of Boko Haram. We're talking about flooding, we're talking about erosion, we're talking about a lot of things that has actually taken people away from their natural domain where they're living. So as a matter of fact, Nigeria never particularly have a good database. An accident happened, we know it's an 18-seater bus. If everybody died in an accident that is sitting 18 people and there is no survivor, we should know that it's 18. Yet you will still have it reported as 15 people died. So where are the remaining 3 people? They disappeared. So I really don't know how we pick data and we report it really very wrongly. So what we're saying in essence is that there's every possibility that the account that is being put in place by the Senate, I mean, I said that's the Senate, the House of Representatives, to getting an absolute or a close figure to the number of people that have been displaced is to consider all of them that are in the various camps and probably other information that is getting to them. Don't forget that we have a refugee camp sitting well over 50,000 Nigerians in Cameroon. You remember, we brought somebody here who was able to give us an accurate information about that. You know, so I am of the opinion that we should at least put a measure in place, a process in place, an application in place that can actually capture accurate data.
But I need something just popped up in my head, and I need to understand why some Nigerians feel this is mere propaganda. The Boko Haram
We're beginning
war,
to bring politics into it.
Let's be factual and honest here, because we're talking about human beings. Yeah. The Boko Haram issue has been on for 7 years now. And you're saying for over 7 years, we cannot have at least 5 million people who have been displaced across the northeastern part of the country alone?
You see, don't forget that, except you're a journalist, except you're a journalist and you are very close.
Do you know that even sometimes when the military, they go around the communities, you see that these places are desert, as the ghost towns. We see videos, we see pictures. It's only a man or an individual who hasn't seen what these places look like that can sit in the comfort of their houses and say, no, all of this is propaganda, all of this is not true, all of this is not happening. But these are things that are happening. People who live within those communities are afraid to even return back. Even when Boko Haram is eventually destroyed, many of them are scared to even return back because of the traumatic experiences these communities hold for them.
Now, I agree with you totally,
really?
Ishoma. I agree with you totally. Now, but the challenge that we have is that when exactly, see, we said we're coming to, and we want Nigerians to call us on Crossfire and let us know exactly how many times that you have had to put your biodata, you know, in one area, you know, as requested, you know, at one point or the other, you know, for you to just come and put up your biodata. Now, I put mine when we were doing SIM registration. I don't know about you, Ishoma.
I did.
Okay, I did when we were doing BVN, bank verification number. I'm very sure you did same.
Yeah.
I did when we were doing national ID card. We put another set of they took it. Now,
even before the elections.
Where are the databases for all of these biodata? And yet we still have problem linking people. No forensic investigation will be done for criminals. The people who adopted Chief Olufalaye for 4 days, some people were reporting yesterday that we are suspecting that they're actually the people who adopted the old man for 4 days. Have you asked them questions? These people need to be debriefed immediately, and then you can take them. Maybe Chief Olufalaye will even be able to identify 1 or 2 of them and say, yes, these were the boys who held me. Now, don't come out and give us as if you're not doing a proper work. Why would you display somebody's picture in the pages of a newspaper, all over the newspaper, if you are still thinking that they are suspects? How do we behave like this in Nigeria? It's still very baffling. You reported it as suspected, I mean, that these guys actually abducted the old man, and you are suspecting that they are the ones who held him.
And you're flashing
and you are flashing the pictures. I mean, these are things we were talking.
If it turns out that they had nothing to do with, you know, the abduction, you know, they can actually sue the Nigerian police force.
Now, there were actually a few statements that they have made. We did it because we wanted money for Salah and all of that. I mean, fine. Police may just want to do a very shoddy work. I mean, we have always done that. Up to today, we still don't know who killed Bolaige. We still don't know who killed Alfred Rewani. We're still looking for people. We're still looking for people. Up till now, I don't think we have actually established the fact who killed Delegiwa. I mean, so many people have been killed in this country, and those cases have never, ever been resolved. And you see, once those cases are not resolved, you know what it does to families of people who are concerned? There's no closure.
That's true.
There's no closure. Have they told us who killed Funshaw Williams? And yet you pick these young boys. maybe they are not even properly debriefed, and you are showing their faces on the national newspaper. It's unfortunate. And that is what we have here. What I am saying, Ishoma, is that can we just deploy an accurate measure, something that can make us have an idea of something that is close to a data. You and I, one day, we were just trying to check how some things work. In the United States of America, death rate, as people were born, per seconds, as they were born,
it increases.
It increases. As people are dying, it decreases, and then it increases.
As you can see,
yes,
everything as it's happening right there on the American government's website.
We are
but
so
in
far.
Nigeria, we're far. If you ask people in your community, in your locality, I recall there was a time Lagos State government, they tried doing that also because they wanted to be aware, they wanted to know the number of people who were living in Lagos State. And the reasons for that was simple because they wanted to be able to estimate also the kind of services they would provide based on the number of people living in the state and as regards healthcare. But of course, that was during the last regime. And what happened? It was stopped. There was so much propaganda, so much noise that they wanted to use it for this, XYZ, and that was how they killed the idea. But imagine if every state in Nigeria, they can do that. They can have the data, accurate data of people living resident in that state for at least 6 months. You know, these ones are residents. Do you know that this will go a long way in solving this issue? If each state can collect this data, you feed it to a national database. Of course, during the elections, they all captured our fingerprints. So it's even easy because now you can be able to detect crime. Come on.
No. It's not going to happen here.
Fixing Nigeria is not rocket science.
It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket.
It's going to take someone who is going to sit on the national, like somebody who is coming to do a proper orientation and then reorientation. Orientation for generation that does not even know their right from their left, and there are people who are young, are youths, they don't even know where they're going. We said they are the future leaders of tomorrow or of this country, but they cannot even differentiate between their right and their left. For some of us who have probably been around for quite a while, we need reorientation because it was something you told us when we were growing, and we didn't meet it there now that we are grown. And then and then new generation are coming behind us that need the orientation as they are being as we have them being born into the society. We need to look for a platform that will begin to teach them the Constitution of Nigeria. Let them know their rights and their wrongs. Let them know what they're entitled to. Up till now, a typical, except when you are from an influential family in Nigeria, you may not carry a national passport until you are 50 or until you are 40. I was talking to a 27-year-old boy, and we were just talking and all of that, and then I said, "Do you have do you have an international passport?" He said, "No." Have you ever had? He said, "No." It's not that you lost it. He said, "No." You never got one.
And many Nigerians do not even have a national ID card. How can
Do you know how many people
identify themselves
that never carried
as citizens of this country?
It's a very terrible situation. Let's move on here, Ishoma. Now, tribunal ruled on Saraki, and others today. Now, we read that report to you, and from Saraki point of view, Yusuf Olaolu Ali, who is the counsel to Senator Saraki, is saying that the tribunal should dismiss this matter. Now, I really don't want to go too deep into this story. Let's talk about the ministerial list a little bit. Now we have supposedly it's coming from the House, from the Senate, that we are not sure is a sealed envelope. We don't even know the number of names that is written. That is in the list.
Content.
Some people are saying it's 16 to make the expected 37 names. Yeah. You understand? So we're expecting 16 names to come. So everybody is believing that, okay, in that list, we will have 16 names. Now, but the Senate is saying we're not even sure. It will be read out today, and we'll let you know. When we start reading it, then you can start, doing your mathematics, and then let us know the number of people that are in the list. And then the awful thing has happened. People are already talking again, especially the caliber of people that have made, that are supposedly, I said I don't want to discuss about this list really, but let's take this call. Segil Bala, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Very well. And you?
I'm fine. Well, I want to actually appreciate your topic this morning.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. I actually want to comment about the screening that will be going on today about some of the ministerial nominees.
Yes, boss.
Well, I think they really need to go thoroughly on a good screening, because there has been some kind of thoughts about Governor Amechi and Governor Fashola. People are actually kicking against it. But yesterday, everything was over against Amechi. So we are expecting a good screening from the Senate today. They have to actually do the right thing, because it has to do with the lives of Nigerians. So I think they should do the right thing so that they would get actually the right thing that needs to be done in that Senate to actually get those ministerial nominees. Because what we are actually seeing in this country now, people are not after actually the interests of the country. People are actually after the interests of they themselves. Yeah. And that is why what I'm saying about the politics in Nigeria, there is only one politician, and I don't describe him as a politician. And I'm talking about the president himself. The president himself is a leader. We can't describe him as a politician. So what I'm saying is that when you remove the president out of politics, the others are just there for their own selfish interests. So we should actually do the right thing. Let's get the right people on board. We had the ministerial list, and what we are seeing are former governors, former ministers. We expect to see new people, but what we are seeing are different people. But if this will move Nigeria forward, it's all good for all of us. But the Senate should actually work thoroughly to actually get the right people to actually get into this ministerial nominees. And then talking about the internal displaced people, about what the speaker was saying about 50 million. Well, I think he has to actually give us how he actually got that
5 million.
About 50 million. About
5 million, sir. 5 million.
Okay, 5 million. Yeah. About 5 million internal displaced persons. I think he actually needs to give us so that we'll actually get to know where he actually got his own from.
All right. Thank you very much, Balasigil. Now, let's quickly say two things. That the Senate are backed by the Nigerian Constitution to do, and they've been saying that since last week. They will do two things before any nominee is supposedly screened. Number one is that they must have submitted a list of their assets, which would have been verified by the CCB. And then the CCB will give them a clean bill, a clean bill of acceptance, saying that, okay, we have done the verification and you have been certified to be okay. And then they will come with a copy of this to the Senate for the screening. And number two,
obviously the Senate will have a copy also.
Exactly. And
so
then
it will be doctored.
Exactly. And then number two is the fact that you have to be, accredited, let me put it that way, by 2 senators from your constituency. So we are expecting that all of these conditions that are supposed to help the Senate accept anybody they are going to be screening today would have been done by the people on the list. And now what will happen, obviously, the supposedly 16 names on the new list will not be screened today.
For me, though,
obviously, they wouldn't have done anything with CCB. So they have not met the criteria. Yeah. Not yet. So let's see. The screening is supposed to start today, and then...
For me, I want the screening to be deeper than the 2 conditions they gave out. It should be deeper because we need people.
No, it's just a criteria for the screening. They will still be asked. They will be asking them a lot of questions when they get in.
Because look at some of the things we're talking about now. Data, for example. Come on. Do you know how this will also help, in reducing crime in the country? Do you know how this will also help in promoting even jobs for people, creating jobs? All of this is put together. So we need people, we need ministers who are resourceful, intellectually, who can think outside the box, who can see and understand that, okay, Nigeria is different from the United States of America. But what can I do? How can I adopt some of the models operational in some of these advanced, successful countries? How can I adopt it and tweak it to suit the Nigerian populace. We need people who can think. We do not need people who probably helped Mr. President get into office and now it's time for them to be compensated.
All right,
like you said.
I believe that
Really?
the Senate know exactly what to do, hopefully, anyway, because I know that some of these screenings will be televised, and then we can see if a thorough job is being done or not. Let's go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll still be talking about our great nation, Nigeria. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and it's still Crossfire with Dr. Anishoma, and we've been talking about the screening that will be happening today. We told you at the beginning of the show that 21 names were initially submitted, and yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari sent an additional set of nominees, and this list has been collected by the Senate President Bukola Saraki. And so it is expected that, as planned since last week, that there will be screening starting from today. 2 criteria need to be met before you can even get into the hallowed chamber to be interviewed or to be screened by the senators. And that's the fact that, 1, you must have been certified okay by the CCB. And then you must have 2 senators who have accredited that. They probably know you well, they know that you're a man of integrity, or they know that you can be trusted. I don't know whatever criteria, but I mean, all the names that we have in the first list, the 21-man list, believe you me, they are all known Nigerians. There are people who have been around in the public domain. There are public office holders, majority of them have, in one way or the other, either at the state level or at the federal level, have had engagement, in government. And so now my question is that, what exactly are Nigerians, expecting from today? For example, I'm expecting a screening process void of politics. I just wish that we can have that.
You
completely.
Asked me a question. You asked what are Nigerians
No, I'm just prompting. There are so many things I know. Okay.
Some Nigerians are expecting that some names of that list are screened out. True or false? Some Nigerians, yes. That is what they're expecting. But for me, I'm expecting that a thorough job is done, like you said. I don't care who the individual is. Probably they may have had negative experiences.
But Nigerians are saying you should care who?
Well, yes, we should care. But for me, I have seen where some people, because of the track record or the antecedents in the past, many of them are living with the regret. Many of them are living with that shame that they did whatever it is they did, probably because of some political forces that mandated that they do those things. So many of them want a clean slate now. Many of them want an opportunity to right their wrongs and give Nigerians what Nigerians truly deserve. I'm not oblivious of that fact too. But what I'm most important about is, let us have people who can do the job. Let us have people who we can say, okay, a lot of Nigerians voted for Mr. President. A lot of us have that faith and confidence in Mr. President and in this nation. All we want are people who can support Mr. President and his ideologies and all of those issues which made him, despite his age, all of those reasons why he came back to say, I want to redeem my country. That is all what we are after.
Now,
we're not after
can you see a dilemma? We trusted in Mr. President. We gave him our support. We believed in his ideology. We believe that he can deliver Nigeria from whatever state that we have found ourselves, and yet without a list that is sat down probably to compile. I mean, it's such a dilemma. I thought everybody would be like, for a Buhari to come up with these names, then Buhari has a plan.
No, come on. A lot of people had, all of this you say, a lot of people said the same thing when he came out to say, I'll be running under the APC.
Let's quickly take this call because of time. Shoaib, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dapo.
Great to have you on the show, Shoaib.
Thank you very much. You people are doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
But I want to put something to the notice of the whole Nigeria.
Please go ahead.
Please, let us not overfloat this issue.
Okay.
In aspect of the ministerial nomination, the ministerial list, so to say, I think the president has done a very good job. Let us allow him. Secondly, what is actually the constitutional right and the constitutional duty of the National Assembly? 2 senators nominating or accepting someone before becoming a minister, is it constitutional? It's not. I've not heard that before.
But Dino Melaye came out. Dino Melaye came out really very strong that some of these things, they are constitutionally backed.
In the Senate standing rules.
By Senate to do it.
Dino Melaye came out to say that, but the minority leader,
Hello.
Hello, Shuaib.
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
One of the Senate came up yesterday on the air. I watched him live on NT.
Okay.
This senator from one of the Southwest, they recently appointed, is it a minority whip or Adeye or somebody, Professor Adeye, I think so.
Yeah.
He debunked and he made it clear that the Senate has no time in any way agreed to do anything like that. Tell me, Evangel, that all.
Yes.
So if I have solution to Nigerian problem now, and I don't have two senators from my state to approve me part of my country,
it's ridiculous.
Am I there to serve the two senators from this?
No, seriously, it's ridiculous.
We apologize.
I mean, it's very ridiculous. That's my opinion.
When this matter was trending,
exactly, it's very ridiculous.
But of course, you know the Constitution mandates that they screen. They have the power to screen. So if they say to make the job easier,
they are coming up with some
all of this,
stringent conditions and measures to make it really difficult.
Then that can fly.
Anyway,
that can fly.
I expect, my final word on this is just that I expect a very tough time, at the Senate today as the screening starts.
As long as it doesn't result
I see a lot of argument. I see a lot of division happening. I see senators shifting grounds and saying that, no, it should not be that way. It should be this way. So, until the screening starts and we have reports in the public domain that they actually are being screened, believe you me, that's the only time I'm going to believe that this screening is going to pass. That is going to fly. Seriously, because if you look at it very well, there are loads of things that are building. All the petitions that have been written against some of the names in the list that the president submitted to the Senate, all of them were thrown out yesterday. All of them. You would have expected that, okay, they will look at the integrity of such petitions, they will look at the pedigree of the petitions, they will look at...
For it to have been thrown out, that means they already began doing their duties already. They began looking at it because let's not forget the fact. Let's look at the Senate.
They said it's not a court, and the reason is that it is not a court. The Senate is not a court.
Let's
so
look at
go and channel it appropriately.
That's it. But really, why didn't initially they had all the opportunities to file petitions in court legally against this individual? They did not. Many Nigerians or many of these people are bringing out these petitions now just to witch hunt that individual. Many of them, if you look thoroughly at it, are not founded. Many of them do not have strong evidences supporting it.
Anyway, they will speak for themselves. If they are allowed to be screened, they will speak for themselves. The
ministerial nominee from Kaduna State, many people came out to say, oh no, the Constitution says that individual must be from that state. She's not from the state, she's from another state. Do not, come on. Is that what we need right now? Is that what we need right now?
Anyway,
what does the Constitution say? No woman, no individual shall be tribalized based on their religion or their marriage or marital grounds or their sex. But now people are coming out to say, oh, because she's not from this state, then she should be this, she should be that.
And don't forget,
we have grown beyond
don't forget that Alhaji Lai Mohammed
is
facing a lot of what people are saying that we don't know him in Kwara State. He cannot represent us in Kwara State. Anyway, it's such a very, very funny thing, but it requires a lot of, deep thought. Nigeria is a great country, and we're looking forward to becoming very great again. But all of these problems, will it have enough power to be able to destroy us or to separate us or to divide us? Oh no, we will stay together, we'll protect the integrity of our nation, Nigeria, and we'll make sure that Nigeria survives. And that's how far we can go today. Thank you very much, Ichoma. And thank you for everyone who have made our show really very possible. We'll be back tomorrow with another very interesting episode. Stay blessed.
And no to violence. God bless you.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.